Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We got to get to Israel now. Shimon Peres speaking at his private residence or having a state dinner. Let's listen in.
Toward the civilian targets in Israel, including Sderot that you have visited. From here, in the name of all of us, I want to convey our love to the inhabitants of the south around Gaza, who carry this heavy burden courageously and continue to plow their land, plant their trees, raise their children. It is an inspiration to each of us. Today, the enemies of peace spoke in the only language they know, the language of terror. I am convinced that together we shall defeat them. Dear Barak, your visit here is a historic event. We are so happy to receive you and your distinguished delegation. I'm very glad to see Secretary John Kerry. A reassured friend, John, I know you are, and I know you will be successful. I'm not sure that the prophets have had speechwriters. But if they had, I imagine Isaiah would have said what actually he has said. And in that occasion, and I'm quoting him, "How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation." Well, you have to be satisfied with my diet language. I cannot speak like him. It is my privilege to present you with our country's highest honor, the Medal of Distinction. This award speaks to you, to your tireless work to make Israel strong, to make peace possible. Your presidency has given the closest ties between Israel and the United States a new height, a sense of intimacy, a vision for the future. The people of Israel are particularly moved by your unforgettable contribution to their security. You're defending our skies, to your liberation in the domain of intelligence, which is the right way to preempt bloodshed. The diplomatic and the military bonds between us have reached an unprecedented level. When I visit you in Washington, I thought in my heart, America is so great and we are so small. I learned that you don't measure us by size, but by values. Thank you. When it comes to values, we are you and you are us. On occasions, when we were alone, you stood with us. So we were not alone. We were alone together. We shall never forget it. During your previous visit to Israel, you asked me if I had any advice to offer. Well, it's not my nature not to let questions go unanswered. So I suggested that while people say that the future belongs to the young, it is the present that really belongs to the young. Leave the future to me, I have time. I think I was right. Because the moment you came into office, you immediately had to face daunting and demanding challenges day in, day out. I prayed that you would meet them with wisdom and determination, without losing hope, without allowing others to lose hope. You know, the prayers were answered. After all, they came from Jerusalem, and they came to us as a great message. It is a tribute to your leadership, to the strength of your character, to your principles, that you have never surrendered to hopelessness. You stood and stand firmly by your vision. Your values serve your nation. They serve our nation as well. So I know that you will never stop to strive for a better world, as you say today in a good Hebrew, Tikkun Olam. We have a rich heritage and a great dream. As I look back, I feel that the Israel of today has exceeded the vision we have had 65 years ago. Reality has surpassed the dreams. The United States of America helped us to make this possible. Still, the path to tomorrow may be fraught with obstacles. I believe that we can overcome them by our determination and by your commitment. I am convinced that you will do whatever is necessary to free the world's horizons and the skies of Jerusalem from the Iranian threat. Iran denies the Shoah and calls for a new one. Iran is building a nuclear bomb and denies it. The Iranian regime is the greatest danger to the world peace. History has shown time and again that peace, prosperity, and stable civil society cannot flourish when threats and belligerency abound. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, the Iranian people are celebrating their new year, Nowruz. I wish them, from the depths of my heart, a happy holiday and a real freedom. Israel will seize any opportunity for peace. Being small, we have to maintain our qualitative edge. I know that you responded and will respond to it. The strength of Israel is its defense forces. They afford us the ability to seek peace. And what America has contributed to Israel's security is the best guarantee to end the march of folly, the march of terror and bloodshed. We watch with admiration the way you lead the United States of America, the way you stay true time and again to your bonds of friendship with us. Your commitment and deeds speaks volumes about the principles that guides America to strive for freedom and democracy at home, but also all over the world. You send the boys to fight for the freedom of others. What is uplifting is that the United States brought freedom not only to its own people, but never stops and never will stop to help other people to become free. You represent democracy at its best. You have deepened its meaning. Namely, the democracy is not just the right to be equal, but the equal right to be different. The democracy is not just a free expression, but as self-expression as well. You exemplify the spirit of democracy by striving for justice and equality, opportunity in the American society. The world has now become global and yet remains individual, and you offer those principles. You have shown global responsibility and individual sensitivity. On Monday night, Mr. President, we shall celebrate Passover, the festival of freedom, the celebration of spring. The celebration of spring means our journey from the house of slaves to the home of the free. They started more than 3,000 years ago. We remember it every year. We are commanded to feel as though each of us personally participated in that journey. We shall not forget where we came from. We shall remember always where we are headed to, which is to make the promised land a land of promise, a land of freedom, justice and equality. While reality calls for vigilance, Passover calls to remain believers. Israel is an island in a stormy sea. We have to make our island safe, and we wish that the sea will become tranquil. We converted our desert into a garden. It was achieved by the talents of our people and the potential of science. What we have done, Mr. President, can be done all over the Middle East, as you have rightly said tonight. Israel is described as a startup nation. The Middle East can become a startup region. Dear President, you noted in your address today that peace is the greatest hope for the human being. I share your vision. Your call to reopen the peace process may pave the way for the implementation of the two-state solution agreed by all of us. As you said, a Jewish state, Israel, an Arab state, Palestine. If I'm not wrong, next to you sits our Prime Minister. He was just re-elected. He opened his address in the Knesset by reiterating his commitment to the two-state solution. Dear friends, I have seen in my life, I earned the right to believe that peace is attainable. As you felt today, I know this is the deep conviction of our people. With our resolve and your support, dear Barack Obama, we shall win, and it will happen. Mr. President, I am privileged to bestow upon you the Medal of Distinction. It was recommended by a committee of 7 prominent Israeli citizens, headed by our former Chief of Justice, Meir Shamgar, and includes our former President, Yitzhak Navon. It was my view, and I was glad to accept their recommendation. You inspired the world with your leadership. Toda Rabba, Mr. President. Toda from a grateful nation to a very great leader. God bless America. God bless Israel.